Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope your day is starting great. It's been reported in Western media that there's been an unintended consequence to some actions the United States has taken with respect to India. Let me explain to you in this video what that unintended consequence is, and actually explain that you really shouldn't describe it as an unintended consequence, but an expected consequence. Now, pictured behind me here is the Prime Minister of India. His name is Narendra Modi. He is the leader of a proud, independent democracy that will not be pushed around by anyone in the world. He's responsible for the well-being, the energy needs, the food needs, the economic needs of 1.4 billion people on Earth. And that is the 1.4 billion proud and patriotic people that live in India. Now, India is a country with a long history and a vibrant culture. They've experienced good times and bad times over their thousands of years of existence. They've recently, in the past few hundred years, come to understand what it means to be taken advantage of. That's how they would describe the decades of occupation and colonial rule that they were subjected to by the British. They have emerged from that period of colonialism to now be the world's fourth largest economy, soon to be the third largest economy if the trends continue, to be one of the world's military superpowers, a nuclear power in the world, to be an independent democracy that vows to not be pushed around by anyone ever again. But recently, this guy has pissed them off by imposing 50% tariffs on the import of Indian goods into the United States as punishment against India for the crime of buying oil from Russia. He's decided to try and use leverage to bend the will of the Indian people to follow what he wants them to do. But Prime Minister Modi and other Indian politicians quickly dismissed this. And now Mr. Modi is rallying 1.4 billion proud, patriotic people to let Trump know what they really think. And before I get into explaining what could end up being the world's most massive boycott in history, let me just explain to you what 1.4 billion means, because I assure you that a lot of you don't understand what the number 1.4 billion means. It would take you approximately 44 years to count to 1.4 billion if you were able to stay awake 24 hours a day for those 44 years and count one number every second of every day, of every month, of every year of your life for 44 years, you would be able to count to 1.4 billion. That's how many people this guy's pissed off. How about that for a dramatic introduction? In order to understand this from the perspective of someone from India, I've pulled some articles here from the Times of India. Let me read you the headlines and give you a synopsis. Donald Trump's big statement, "India kills us with tariffs," again claims New Delhi offered no tariff deal. The article goes on to explain how this big statement from this big buffoon is just big BS. Recently reported on September 1st, again in the Times of India, reality check for Trump. Why blame India for Russian crude trade? The US, the EU trade with Russia runs in the billions. And the article goes on to point out how hypocritical the United States is for trying to tell India what to do when the United States and Europe are currently involved in trade with Russia themselves. Trump's tariff scare. Ramdev urges boycott of U.S. producers, says no Indian should be seen at counters of American brands. And there he is pictured here, Mr. Ramdev, who happens to be a yoga guru in India. Let me continue here. Donald Trump's 50% tariffs on India spark outrage. Calls for boycotting U.S. brands grow on social media. Self-reliance is in focus. Amidst rising tensions over U.S. tariffs, major American brands in India face boycott calls, fueled by social media campaigns and nationalist sentiments. Corporate leaders are urging citizens to prioritize local products and develop indigenous alternatives to global tech platforms. And reported here in the United States on CNN, toothpaste, McDonald's and Pepsi in the crosshairs as U.S.-India tariff tensions heat up. And you can see in the picture here a full-page ad in an Indian newspaper, and it reads, "Born there, not here." And this is typical of what you see across India now, ad campaigns urging their citizens, stop buying US products, start buying Indian products. And this isn't just a few obscure ads in some newspapers. Reported here in Reuters, Dubar, Indian rival of Colgate-Palmolive, is making its toothpaste a test of nationalism by asking consumers to shun American brands as companies intensify promotion of local goods amid worsening trade ties with the United States. And Prime Minister Modi himself on Thursday reiterated his call to use Swadeshi. Now, if you don't know what Swadeshi means, I didn't know what it meant. I had to look it up. It means use Indian goods first, Swadeshi. But when this guy says it, it sounds very ominous. Swadeshi. Oh, it does sound ominous for these multinational American companies that operate in India. The Prime Minister himself, Narendra Modi, calling for Swadeshi, and Modi himself said children should make a list of foreign branded goods while teachers should push them not to use them. He wants the children to learn for themselves at a young age. Children, make a list of US branded goods, and teachers teach these children not to use them. My, oh my, now that's what I call Swadeshi. If you're American, get used to hearing that word. You might hear it 1.4 billion times in the future. Tamil Nadu hotels to boycott US-based beverages over Trump tariffs. And you see a picture here of a Coca-Cola machine. Now, how much of an impact could that have? Like, how much Coca-Cola can one country drink? Well, if each Indian drinks one Coke a day, that's 1.4 billion Cokes a day. That's a lot of Coke. And the Indian people are starting to boycott it. From Pepsi to McDonald's, U.S. giants face Swadeshi heat amid Trump tariffs. American multinationals such as Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Subway, KFC, McDonald's face a threat of being boycotted as a result of tariffs imposed on India by U.S. President Donald Trump. Now, I'm going to rephrase this headline a little bit because I have a little experience in understanding why boycotts happen. I'm from Canada. We have boycotted the United States as well. And it's not just the tariffs. It's not just the imposition of the tariffs that is causing the boycotts. It's the arrogance, the insults, and that self-righteous attitude that the United States has, that they can push you around and get you to do what they want you to do. And they can make you change your culture and make you behave how they want you to. And you'll be begging them to become their 51st state. Or you'll be begging them to please make a deal. Oh, Mr. Trump, please don't hit us with 50% tariffs. We'll do anything for you. Well, the United States this time has decided to pick on someone who's more their size than Canada. Actually, a little bit bigger than them. Now, I know that Americans are generally bigger consumers, and I mean the word bigger to mean actually bigger. There's an obesity problem in the United States, and they probably drink more Coca-Cola per person than Indians do. But do they drink 5 times as much Coke per person in the United States as India? There's 5 times as many Indians. I don't know where I was going with that, but it sure felt good when I was saying it. Swadeshi. We're starting to see articles pop up in Western media here on Newsweek. India boycott of U.S. products could see millions ditch McDonald's and Pepsi. Let me make a correction here to your headline. Could see 1 billion ditch McDonald's and Pepsi. 1 billion with a B. Now, as a Canadian, I understand boycotts a little bit. I understand boycotting U.S. products. My country is busy boycotting everything U.S. And little old Canada is responsible for U.S. wine exports plummeting 97%. Canada happens to be the biggest market, or was the biggest market for U.S. wine exports. And that's hit U.S. wine producers hard. If 40 million people can do this, what do you think 1.4 billion people can do? So I guess you could say Canada is having its own Swadeshi. And if Canadians can do it and have that much of an impact on the U.S. tourism industry and the U.S. wine and spirits export industry, well, you can't even imagine how much of an impact a boycott from 1.4 billion people will have. And this will not totally show up in just reported trade numbers, because The Indian Swadeshi is going to target companies, multinational US companies that operate now in India, the thousands of McDonald's and KFCs and Subways and Coca-Cola and Pepsi that sold in India. If the yoga guru and this guy say Swadeshi, and the Indian people with their pride and patriotism listen, then this could grow into one of the biggest boycotts in human history. It started off slow when Donald Trump first announced these tariffs. The Indian authorities quickly dismissed this, and then we didn't hear very much in the news about it. But slowly, the animosity and disgust over the situation has built up in India. And there's a saying that you might have heard. You can blow out a candle, but you can't blow out a fire. Once the flames begin to catch, the wind will take it higher. So I say, well done. Well done, Mr. Trump. You sure did a fantastic job on this one. You single-handedly triggered a rush of patriotism. You've galvanized the spirit of the most populated country on earth. So is it accurate the way it's reported in the West? An unintended consequence of President Trump's tariffs have led to an Indian boycott of US goods? Is it an unintended consequence? Or is it fully expected? What did you expect would happen when you insult and berate and try and dominate a country like India? A country that's not going to take any shit from anyone. It's not an unintended consequence. It's more of the same. It's what we've been seeing play out all over the world. The United States, willingly or unwillingly, is building a wall around itself. And as that wall goes up, they're going to hear the echoes from the other side. Swadeshi. I applaud the Indian boycott, and I wish all 1.4 billion of you all the best. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think. And if you want to support my work and help this channel, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below or clicking the link that I leave pinned to the top of the comments section. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you all on Swadeshi. I know I was supposed to say the next one, but I just like to say Swadeshi. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it sounds so good. I just love that word. It's my new favorite word. Trump's favorite word is tariff. My favorite word is Swadeshi.